Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to Inspiration. I am Dr. Thashna Walsh, here to give you some insights into how things work, how the body works, how the mind works, and how we can use and tap into this information to have a real glorious life. So, today's topic is a topic chosen by someone I spoke to not so long ago. And it basically it's about the aura and our awareness and how they are related. Now, I did a talk like this about the energy centers, which is basically similar, very, very similar. That was a bit of a teaching class, with the chalkboard and everything. So you can go and visit that one. It's called the energy centers or the chakras. And it's in the lineup of talks that I've done over the last, I think I did it just maybe in November last year. So somewhere about there. So this particular talk about auras and our awareness is really important. So I'm so glad that Rico requested this from me, because we walk around in this physical form and we think that's all there is to us. When I keep telling you that when you read the science books, you will see that you are only a tiny, tiny percentage. In fact, you are 0.00001% physical. The rest of you is energy. So that's 99.99999% energy. Okay, so if you're tapping into your energy world and understanding how it functions, then your experiences in your life are going to be so much better. But if you're just living from a 3D physical perspective, then you're going to find that life is a grind, life is hard. You push and it pushes back, and stress happens and you respond to it, and then more stress happens, you respond to it because you're not responding to it in an effective and efficient way. But if you know how to tap into the energy, which is really most of who you are, then life is easy and just pretty in flow. So the auras are basically if you remember the energy centers, there's 7 energy centers starting at the root chakra. Okay, so I interchange chakras with energy centers. It's the same thing. It's where you imagine your brain is sat on your head and you've got the nervous system that branches through the spinal cord, through the spine rather, as the spine from the spinal cord into spinal nerves throughout the body. And as they branch down and the spinal nerves come together to send information to various organs at these points that along the spine that they come together, these circuits create energy, like an energy field around them. And these are called energy centers or chakras. And we all have them, every single one of us. And your chakra, basically, the energy by emanating from that surrounds your whole of your body. And that creates your aura field. And again, just like there are 7 layers of energy centers, there are also 7 layers of auric field. Each of those auric fields attaching to one of those energy centers. So, for example, you've got the root chakra or the root energy center that is attached to the physical auric field, which is the field that is closest to your body, which is basically the body itself. So there's an energy being emitted from that, and that's called the physical field. And then the root, after the root, you've got the second energy center, which is also called the sacral chakra, and that's the emotion that's attached to the emotional auric field. So you remember, if you remember the thing I did before, the talk I did before, the root chakra glows red, the emotional center or the second energy center glows orange. And then the next one from that is the solar plexus, which is the third chakra, which is associated with the mental auric field, which glows yellow. And then the next layer is the heart chakra associated with the, what's it called, imaginal auric field, and that glows green. Okay, and then we have the throat chakra, which is attached to the ethereal. It's called ethereal template auric field, and that glows like light blue. And then the next layer is to do with the third eye, or the seventh. Am I on the seventh? The sixth, sorry, the sixth, which is the spiritual field. And then the final one is the divine, which is a crown chakra, which glows purple. Okay, so you got all these 7 layers emitting from the body. So the closest one, the physical, then you have then you have the next one, the next one, and next one, and they all come out like this. So it depends on how much energy is going on inside your body. The bigger the spread. So how we affect our energy is basically based on the thoughts that are going in and the emotions that we're creating with those thoughts and the belief system that we're creating with those thoughts, emotions, actions. And, it's one big cycle, call it thinking cycle. And the emotions that are coming up and where those emotions are being stored or creating energy, creating those vibrations, those frequencies, in what creates the auric field. So if you want your auric field to be one that's attracting, because like I said, energy attracts energy. So whatever you have out in your field is going to be attracting like energy to it. So if you are a positive thinking person, then you're going to have an auric field that is going to be attracting things that are positive towards you. But if you're negative, you're always complaining and shaming and blaming and pointing outside of yourself at everything else that's going on that's no good, then you're just going to be attracting that to you, because you're basically saying to the universe, the energy, the life force, the God force, that yes, I want more of that. Okay, God is not a person up in the sky looking down at you, shaking his finger and telling you off or anything. The God force flows through you. So you have choice. You have these personal choices, and you have the personal power within yourself coming from the solar plexus, which then you make choices and you follow through on stuff, and then you attract. Yeah, because when your energy is vibrating at what you want, which is why it's important to actually know what you want, to have a vision for yourself. You can't just let life take you. Otherwise, it could take you anywhere, and then you go, oh, life is no good, life is hard, and life is this. It's important that you have a vision, because you are the one in control. You are the one in control. God gave you full choice, gives you full choice, and you have that power to make the choices that you want, to create the life that you want. So, so whatever it is that you're after, if you want to stop procrastinating, if you want to have a successful business, if you want to have a great body, you want to attract a relationship or good relationships in general, all of those things you have the power to do. And it all starts with, what are you thinking? What are you letting into your mind? What are you dreaming about? What are you visioning about? We have been robbed. Most of us have been robbed from dreaming. When you're a kid, I used to get told I got my head in the clouds. I need to get my head out of the clouds. And which is why I like giraffes so much, because I'm quite tall. I'm 6 foot tall. And giraffes are like that. And sometimes you see in movies where they got their heads in the clouds. I'm thinking, yep, that's me. But all my life, I've been told, stop doing that and come down to the real world, come into the nitty gritty, come into the hardship, come into the hustle and the bustle. But I never felt that I belonged there. And which is why I struggled through those points in my life, until I realized that actually, no, putting your head in the clouds and dreaming, really, really dreaming and embodying those dreams, that's how you then walk into the life that you want, because it starts with the dream. It starts with a vision, knowing what you want and having that passion behind it to actually then do something and walk walk in it. And when you're emanating that energy, that passion towards something, it also comes towards you, which is why the phrase says, whatever you're seeking is also seeking you. I think it's Rumi that says it, but don't quote me on that. But yes, whatever you're looking for is also looking for you because you're emanating that energy, and energy has to attract the same. So it may not attract exactly how you want it, but the same frequency must match something. And positive energy is at a high frequency, which means you're going to be attracting things of high caliber, high frequency, high, lots of love, lots of bliss and enjoyment. Anything that comes with feeling good is going to be vibrating at a great level, a really high level. And if it's feeling hard and heavy and stuckness and procrastination and push, and you can feel the 3D effect of it, then you know that you're vibrating too low. And you can't just jump from one to the other. You have to go through the levels. So you have to learn then to break to break away from any sort of limitations. So what your parents used to tell you when you were kids, you can't do that, or don't be silly, don't be stupid, you can't, nobody has ever done that before. Whatever is burning in your heart, find it again, dream it again, and start really building on that. Just sit in your mind and just not daydream, because daydream can be so fleeting and it doesn't have any attachments. You want something that you're attaching yourself to. This is my dream. This is what I see myself doing in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years, in the next month, whatever. But don't be afraid to say, I have this deep desire inside myself, but everybody tells me it's stupid. Or if I share it with anyone, they're going to tell me it's stupid. Don't share it with anyone. You don't have to share anything with anyone. You just follow your dream, and then you go and figure out how to get it done. And you don't even have to figure out the how so much, because when you're dreaming the dream and you're visualizing it enough, the information will almost find you, okay? Because you're attracting it to yourself. It doesn't mean you sit down and you do nothing. You still have to do little things that that will support the pathway to that, because the universe also likes it when we're moving, because moving is also energy. It means that, yes, this is really what we want. So then it comes closer to us, and we get there quicker when we're doing the action side of things. So whatever it is you want in your life, if it's your health, it's the same thing. You can't sit there and moan about my knee hurts, or I've got this abdominal problem or this heart condition, and just moan and moan and moan about it, because then you're just creating more of the energy of what's causing it anyway, right? So you just have to start seeing yourself, unraveling that by seeing yourself, how you want to feel. Your heart is great. You're fit, you're healthy, your cardiovascular is great, my body is fit, everything works like it's supposed to, all my joints are moving beautifully, and visualize yourself doing that. And over time, your body will respond, because your mind does what you tell it. Whatever you're thinking, your body feels that's what you want it to do, because you're in control. It's a spiritual thing. Your body is only the smaller part of it, and it's waiting for you to give it the energy that it needs to do what you want it to do. So you just don't sit there and let it happen to you. You happen to your life. Okay? There's a big, big difference. And this is how your auric field and your awareness are linked. So what you think, what this beautiful brain comes up with, creates the energy within your system. And it just basically creates the all of you. And there's a God force out there, and God wants you to have everything. You kind of call it the life force, the universal force, the source of all things, whatever you want to call it. Jesus, Jehovah, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's the same energy. It's the same energy. It's the life-giving force that keeps everything around us. Okay? So, yeah, have a good think about all of that. And I know that we weren't taught this. Some people were, or some people went out and, did some reading and got to learn all of this stuff. I did a lot of reading, a lot of training to get all the information. I'm not going to go into the big details of any of it, but I want to explain it in layman's terms so everybody can understand that you are in control of whatever happens in your life, or anything that's happening in your life. You are the one that caused it to happen in that particular way. Because of the energy that you're giving out, you had to attract it back to you. And I know sometimes things that are happening are horrible and horrific. And I've had some horrific things happen to me, especially when I was a child. And, it took me a long time to work through those things, and till I could get to a point where actually I think about it, I look at it now, and it doesn't affect me. I can see it as a growth experience. I can see it as a thing that happened, and I learned from it, and I understand that within that I was just observe. Now I can just realize, recognize myself as an observer in that situation, as opposed to a victim in the situation, because it's made me who I am today. It's basically taught me how to grow beyond the situation. And when you're not growing beyond a situation, basically you're just festering like a sore. It's just festering with bacteria and stuff, and it's not getting any better. It just gets worse and worse and worse. But when you can basically create that space for healing, creating that space for healing, then the body does miracles. Your mind does miracles. And then you can elevate yourself to the next level outside of the three-dimensional stressy world into the fourth dimension, where things are a little bit well, much easier, where you make better choices and you see yourself for who you are. And even into the fifth dimension, where things are just a breeze, you kind of float through life and you are just giving back as opposed to taking from the world. Okay, so consider that in order to align the chakras, I recommend meditation. There are other ways of doing it, but meditation is my primary way, where I sit and in a state of calm and quiet, and I focus on each of the energy centers. And say for example, I be focusing on my root chakra, and I'm just focusing on the empty space that it's in. And I kind of learned this meditation from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I've now done a meditation myself, not exactly like his, but based, with my interpretations of what worked for me when I was doing it as well. So you can go and look on my website in my shop, and you can find various meditations there for various things. But the idea is clearing up all the chakras. Yes, putting energy, loving energy in there. So whether it's gratitude and joy and fun and ease, just bringing those feelings into that area and bathing it and bathing it and bathing it, and then move to the next level and to the next level and then to the next level and to the next level and to the next level. And then to the entire body, to that auric field, just bathing it in that beautiful. My favorite is to bathe everything in unconditional love. You know what everybody knows what unconditional love feels like, because on some level, I don't care, even if you don't feel lovable, you know what it feels like. You can see it happening, and you can sense what it feels like. So even if you can't get there, then try gratitude. Okay, there's always something to be grateful for. Someone gave you something, someone did something for you, you're alive, you are on this planet having this experience. Whatever you look at around in nature, there's so much. They've got the trees and they're breathing this beautiful oxygen into the air so that we can take it in. And the sun shines to keep the earth alive and keep nature going, keep us going. The rain falls to water the earth. There is always something to be grateful for. So I understand sometimes when life feels just so terrible and disjointed, and you feel so low and like despondent, and you feel like, oh my gosh, there's nothing to be grateful for. But if you can find 5 things every day to be grateful for, you'll start feeling better. Okay. Depression is usually because people are not being grateful, or they're doing things that their heart is not calling them to do. They're just doing it because they think they have to, or they don't have a choice. But if you follow your heart's desires and your dreams, there is no way you're going to feel depressed. And also, when we're not making connection with each other, we are communal beings. We're meant to be communicating and being in community with one another. So usually if you're feeling low, if you're feeling depressed, because you need to go out and go do something for someone, go to an old person's home and, sign up to their program and go and read them a book, or just sit and chat with them. Or go to any shelters and help do something. If you start doing something for someone else, that will fill your auras with beautiful light energy, because in giving, we receive so much love within ourselves, so much appreciation for ourselves, so much thankfulness within ourselves, and pride, and also and on top of that, you're not just giving to yourself, but you're giving to someone else who's then feeling all of those feelings. And you imagine you're creating that feeling in someone, and that energy that multiplies, because then they're attracting it from somewhere, and then somebody else is being affected by it. And so, and it just goes on and on and on. So there's always something to be grateful for. Or you can remember a time when you were feeling really happy about something, something really made you laugh a lot. Bring those things into your awareness and into your energy centers, build up the energy, make it big and bold and beautiful. And it's not going to be so easy to start with if you've never done something like this before. You might find it even difficult just to sit down for 5 minutes to do it. But the more you do it, and get that practice and really discipline the mind. Because if you can discipline your mind, your life is easy. But most people don't have any discipline in their mind. They just let life take them because they can't be asked to sit down and think about what it is that they want. I remember the first time I was asked what I want, and this was like 20 years ago. And I was in my 20s then. It was like, I don't even know what I want. You know, it's so common. People don't know what they want. They don't dream. People, because we haven't been taught. It's been beaten out of us as kids. And when you go to school, you can't think for yourself because you get it wrong. You have to do what they tell you to do. And if you come up with a different idea, it's wrong. Yeah, the amount of times I've been told that, you get that big red X to remind you, just to remind you that this is not good. Remember all the bad stuff, big red marks, right? But it's time to rewire that. I remember all the good stuff about yourself. Remember all the positive stuff about yourself. Remember the stuff that makes you light up and makes you energized, things you like to do. I used to like climbing trees and climbing up rocks and stuff. And I got told off and beaten a couple of times because I climbed up a big rocky terrain once, and I got stuck up there. I couldn't get down. And I guess they panicked, but that's not how you deal with things like that, But it's just the way things are taught to us, and we just got to remember that if we don't rewire all of that, then our life is never going to change. Okay, because you're going to continually attract that, because that divine layer is holding all of those energy conduits of your life. And if it doesn't change to attract the positives, then your life just going to keep the same. You look at people who just go through life doing the same thing every day, all the time. They haven't changed. You just know what they're going to say almost, and what they're going to do and how they're going to respond and what's going to happen next. But you don't want a life like that. You want a life where you can be the best version of yourself. You can really let your light shine. When you come to your deathbed, whenever that is, you want to be able to look back on your life and go, yeah, I did it my way. I did it the way I came here to do it. I didn't do it that way and that way or that way that somebody else's was. I wasn't copying anyone. I was being an original. I was being me, because there is no one else out there in the world like you. So you have a responsibility to bring your originality, your authenticity to the world, because there's somebody out there that's going to be inspired by that, who's going to light the flame under their authenticity. So, we all have that. And it's important that you be who you're meant to be. And in order to do that, we have to drop all this baggage, this stuff, this pride, this guilt, this shame, this suffering, this headspace of negativity, this mindset of I can't, I'm not enough, who am I? You are a majestic, magnetic, powerful being, okay? And you have a lot to offer. You got massive potential. Each of us carries with us 100% potential. So that is why we're here. That is why we have life. Once you have life, you have that potential. Okay. So let no one tell you. I don't care if it's your mother or your grandma or the person that means the most to you, because sometimes we form these emotional bonds with people that we love, but they don't necessarily speak positivity into our lives, because they're just speaking their fears into our lives, because they're fearful for us. But fear is something that's going to hold you back. Fear doesn't make anyone fly. Yeah. If the bird was fearful to jump out of the nest and fly, it would never fly. I mean, maybe it has some sort of fear, but instinctively it knows that if it wants a full life, it has to jump. Okay, so you have to take that now and create the life for yourself. You've got to decide, and you alone get to decide. Don't let nobody whisper anything into your ears. People can inspire you, yes, but if it doesn't resonate with your soul, then it's not for you. Okay, if you feel a little angst when they tell you, and you feel like, I'm not sure what, they're doing it and they're being successful, so maybe I should do exactly this. Doesn't always work. You have to test it out on your intuition. Okay, that's another thing you need to understand. The more you meditate, the more your intuition opens up, and the more you trust it, the more it's going to take you where you need to be. So your aura is always present. Your energy field is always there, picking up on whatever you're putting into it. And then it's basically pulling back all of that, because that's what it feels that you need, because that's what you're putting out there. Okay. So if you want any more information about this, I'm not going to keep going around in circles saying the same thing. You want more information, you want to learn how to drop the subconscious programs that are not serving you, and put some new programs in there that's going to create a better auric field, that's going to attract more positivity into your life, then please get in touch with me by following the link below. You can either book a discovery call, or you can book an ignition call. So depending on what you're calling for. So it doesn't matter. Just call for something, or go on the website and see what takes your fancy and put in a call. So you and I can have a conversation. Then we can talk about whether we're a good fit. We can see, you can experience a little bit of coaching with me as we talk about what it is that you want to accomplish and how we can help you. And then we can get started, get you signed up. There is a 10-week coaching program, which is pretty new and about to kick off right at the beginning of March. So we've just entered pre-launch, into the pre-launch phase, at the first phase of the launch. And so there's a big discount at the moment happening. So go onto the website and click onto that 10-week, it's called the Ascension Pathway, Grow2Glow Ascension Pathway. And it basically takes you from where you're at in that 3D heaviness, stress, worry, don't know, I don't understand, help, to feeling that, yes, all my chakras are working like they should. My energy field is nice and wide. I am attracting the positive things into my life, and I feel good about myself. I feel engaged. I feel motivated. I feel inspired. There's nothing I can't do. Life is mine to take, anything that I want. Okay, so book that call so we can get you from A to B, because no one deserves to be sitting there stressing, worried, scared. No, that is not the life for you. And you just need to make a choice. It's as simple as that, a choice. Just one decision to say, yeah, I want better for myself. I want better for my family. I want to set a better example. I want to be the first in my family to do this thing. I want to be the inspiration that everybody is looking to. I want to be the best version of myself that I can be. I want to open that side of me that I've never really let out, and let her out and see what happens. See what happens. It's amazing what will happen. So join me. Go onto the website and see, have a look around. There's rapid transformational therapy with coaching or by itself. And that's basically to deal with any sort of limiting beliefs that you've got and throw them aside so we can start setting you free. And then also we can add coaching to that, which then teaches you all the elements that are going to rebuild you as the person that you're meant to be. You already know this inside of you, but sometimes we need coaching. 99% of the time, we need coaching to get rid of the stuff and put the right stuff in, from people who have done the journey already and studied the journey already. And if you want to make it faster, you can do it like I did. It took me 20 years to get where I am now. But if you do it with someone, then you can get there so much quicker, because then they've got all the tools that you need and all the information all in one place, all in one place. And my 10-week program, it's a lot of information. It's a lot of stuff that you need to take in mentally and physically, to create that transformation. So there's going to be a lot of working together to get the transformation happening. So it's not just be pouring information at you. We're working together. You're telling me what's going on a day-to-day basis or in your life or where you want to be. And we're working on whatever is stopping you. We're taking the blocks away and we're moving and we're practicing and we're clearing stuff out and we're building you up and we're practicing and we're embodying and which is why I call it grow to glow, because you're growing. So you're dropping the stuff, you're growing through stuff. So at the end of it, you're one big, glorious, beautiful being. How exciting is that? Okay, so thank you for listening. And yes, just remember your thoughts. Everything starts with your thoughts and your beliefs. What's your belief system? You think about your life right now and how it's running and how, whether it's sticky, whether it feels stagnant, whether it feels easy, whether it feels hard, stressful, it's a stop and go, it's not really in flow. And that's because you have a belief system that needs a little bit of tweaking or maybe a lot of tweaking. I don't know. But I remember when I started, it was just like, I just had no idea. It was a whole new world for me to learn, but I was hungry. I wanted to be set free. So if you feel like you want to be set free, I shall see you on a call. I look forward to it. In the meantime, stay light, stay bright, send you big hugs and lots of love. Till next time. Bye.